So, a lot of people aren't aware of just how easy it is to grow food. If you've ever seen a weed in the sidewalk that you just can't kill, uh, that's a plant. Plants are resilient. They will grow where they can, when they can, however they can. They don't care. They will grow. It's actually very simple. Most urban lifestyles and city lifestyles and just the general mass production of farming in America has resulted in most people not knowing how to farm or grow food for themselves anymore because there's been no need really. But in recent decades, we've started to notice a big increase in chronic diseases such as obesity, diabetes, uh, heart conditions, high blood pressure. These are all things that are a result of poor nutritional intake or just excessive caloric intake. And that results from the snack and junk food and fast food that's just so readily available to us that most of us can really, well, we live on it, and it's mostly out of necessity because we're busy. And so this is to try and help supplement that with some more healthy options and fresher options. And the majority of the benefit that's received there is not so much that you're eating the vegetable, it's more that you're not eating the sugar, salt, and totally nutrient devoid fast food, snack food, or junk food. What seems like, I'm just sitting here, I'm eating a thing of chips, I'm just munching on it, whatever, okay, that was a single serving. And then I look at the side of the label and it says one serving, 4 chips, and there was like, that is, come on, you're hiding how terrible your food is for you. Before I get into how to grow these things, I would like to discuss what you can't really grow in the home. They're all technically possible, anything's possible, but these are not for the average person. It's just too involved and more work than it's worth. Avocados, that's a fantasy. Lemons and oranges, lemons and limes by extension. I didn't have a lemon. Same family though. Yeah, you're not going to do that either. That's a retirement hobby, years in the making. These mushrooms, however, are possible, and the downfall to them, and I think this is where a lot of people perhaps might delve into trying to grow their own food at home, only to be dismayed by, well, the lack of results. Yes, so the most common thing that I see on Facebook is that you can just take a pack of whatever mushrooms, remove the stem, and then create a little spore card that you can just plant in the dirt and grow. So that's not how mushrooms work per se. And without going into too much detail, there is a method that does work with store-bought mushrooms, but a big key difference between that and what we will be doing here is that you have to get a very, very fresh mushroom that's probably still got some living cells in it. And then you will need to use a lot of sterility practices to extract some samples from the core of that and clone it into a jar and of mycelium, and then get a sterile nutrient base, and then you mix the two, and it's a whole thing. It's very involved, and it's way beyond what most people are willing or even have the time to do. It's very much a hobbyist sort of thing, unless you're trying to grow them professionally. Now, what is very simple is lettuce, and I would like to point out that I have romaine lettuce here. There's two common types that are seen. Romaine, that's the vertical stuff, and then iceberg, that's the ball that we're all fairly familiar with, and the name somewhat describes. Romaine is a healthier option, and in my opinion, a more flavorful option. And the beauty of this one is that you're going to do half the work anyway, just eating the lettuce. So I've already severed the bottom here with a knife, but the majority of us don't eat the white bits at the base, and we just like the green stuff because this is, doesn't taste good. So what you do is you want to, when you take your lettuce, leave about an inch or so of worth. I used about 3 fingers gauged, and then I just kind of cut it off. And all we're going to do really is, you can do this in any container, a Dixie cup, or like I have here, a Rubbermaid dish full of water. And you take some toothpicks, a skewer, or in my case, I didn't have any of that, so I just grabbed some plastic forks and broke the handles off. And all you got to do is just into the sides so that they can rest on the edge. And you can adjust this a little bit. And all you're doing, and voila, set it and forget it on a windowsill. Just remembering every 1 to 2 days to change the water out as needed. And what's happening there is that plants use CO2, what you breathe out. I believe that's common knowledge. Yeah, 90% of what a plant grows is actually a material that it pulled from the air more than it did the soil or water. All that's really happening here is that we're providing it with water so it can grow. And then the other minerals and whatnot that are needed, it will just cannibalize from the remaining self, and it'll grow not terribly tall, but enough lettuce for like a sandwich or two. And this is really just more about maximizing your utilization from the produce you are buying, while also minimizing food costs a little bit. You can only really do this once. By about the second or third time, I believe it's going to try and go to seed, and that doesn't taste very good, and is honestly a bit more beyond the scope of this video.